Okay, I'm going to ask for everyone's attention. No clicking or typing during this lecture. It's important because this is the final project. So, first off, um, again, there's no rubric right here, but there will be soon. This may look scary at first, but I promise it's not too bad. So, this final will be everything you have learned this semester put together to make a game. In addition, we are going to continue to talk about Why did I say continue? We're going to talk about post-processing and more scripting. Not continue. Going to talk. There we go. Okay. So, you'll be adding on to your level that you've been working on by including post-processing, which we're going to go over today, more features, and adding assets to make your game better. You can see the specifications here, which are going to be detailed more in the rubric below. Most of these you already have done. The main thing is going to be making your game look prettier with post-processing and adding in another feature to make your game more fun, or really just anything, what you think will make your game better. And your game also needs to have a full gameplay loop, which it should anyway once you finish the menu assignment from last week, and some of you already have. So, we're just going to get right into it and start talking about post-processing because this is something that's really important. And something that's weird because, like, I wanted to talk about this in the game graphics class, but also um, basically everyone in the game graphics class is in this class, so it's just kind of pointless. And it's already talked about in this class, so it's weird. It seems like more of a game graphics thing, but it is something that's really important. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna open this one. And actually, I may want to show this with a nicer scene. We may like go onto the asset store real quick and just grab like just some pre-made like pretty looking scene to show this off better, because right now this is just a test project and has like nothing in it. Um, I also do have multiple videos on my channel going over post-processing, which I created a scene myself and went over it. And that was for game design too, though, which is we went over some more advanced things like light probes and reflection probes, stuff like that, which we'll get into. Anyway, yeah, so this is just gross. So honestly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto the asset store and just see if I can just find some type of scene to make this something we can mess around in. You guys are really going to like post-processing, by the way. Like, I'm excited to show you this because it's going to be fun. So, oh shoot, another thing I forgot to add onto the final. There's one more thing I want you guys to do. I promise it's not that bad. You will also be adding a skybox, which is really easy, at least for if you guys have an outdoor part included in your level. And anyway, I just want you to add a skybox so you know how to do it. 6, 7. I wish it renumbered them for me. Okay. We'll go over that too. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's just, I don't even know, scene. I know I know there are ones that exist. Can I just want some random scene. See, sometimes these just come with like, okay, hold on, there's a 4 scene. Come with like a sample scene. If that makes sense. This one probably does. But I also saw one back here. Can I just have like what is this? Okay, no, I just need like a blank. Yeah, we're gonna just grab this one and hope that it has a sample scene or not. I swear, like almost every goddamn package I download has a sample scene when I don't want it to, and this will probably be the one time that something doesn't have a sample scene, and I will cry if it doesn't. And I hope it's not just a sample scene just showing off every single thing. I just want like a tiny little thing. And while that's downloading, I'm going to continue to... Where's the asset store? Okay, it went bye-bye. Nope, it's here. Can I have like a... Maybe if I type in forest scene. Leave me alone. Environment pack. Maybe this has a sample scene. If this one doesn't, I'll try this one. This is actually a cute style. I like these. Anyway, import. And then I just want to import whatever I need and then the scene. I know this is dumb, but it's kind of going to be hard to show you exactly what some of the things do without, well, hello. Oh dear. How big is this package? I'm going to find out, I guess. Oh. Things are happening. I guess I should have looked in here, actually. Damn it. Hold on. Forgot you could do that. Learn from my mistakes. Oh, great. Okay, it's just going to... Forgot I can look at what's in the package. Let's see if it actually... Welcome. Let's see if it has a sample scene. Scenes. Demo scene. Beautiful. Okay, we'll take it. I hope it's something that we can... okay. What dependencies do you have? We're talking about the final today, and we're going over post-processing and some other stuff. As soon as this downloads, I'm trying to find just any random scene on the asset store to use as an example. And of course I picked the asset that is like this ginormous thing. Oh, it's 2.81 gigs. You know what, we're in too deep now. We're downloading it. It's fine. Everything's fine. But yeah, no, you can look at the package contents, and I see it has a sample, like, demo scene with reflection probes. I'm going to delete those. Funny story. Because we're not going over that in this class. That's game design too. I might not delete them. We'll see. Depends. Better not have baked lighting. I will be mad if it has baked lighting. I regret my decisions. I wish I downloaded the other one. I didn't realize how big this thing was. It doesn't help that the internet here is not, it's not great. Things are happening. Oh my gosh.
The baby's coming.
It's coming. This is painful. I swear to God, if this is just a scene with like a bunch of models laid out, I will be so mad. Just please. Scenes. It's not gonna be that. Where's the... Hello? We could not create a junior... That's... okay. It's fine. Where's the... Okay, that's texture... What the... Oh, here it is. Okay. Wait, no, this is TextMesh Pro. Where's my... I think that's what I just... Did I not import it? Is that what... Was that just downloading it? Oh my god. Okay. Again, we're in too deep. I have to. It's just no. It's fine. It's not like we have a crap ton to go over today. We'll be fine. Won't take too long to go over post-processing and stuff. I swear, this better be the most beautiful scene I have ever seen in my life. It better just like... I better open it and just cry tears of joy for how beautiful the level design is.
It's a one-for-one remake of the Water Temple Legend of Zelda.
Yes. I just need something more advanced to show you guys post-processing crap, and it's being slow. I wonder how much that forest one... Well, I guarantee that forest scene was like way less huge, and I should have just downloaded this one. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Did it come with a sample scene too? I think it did. That hurts. It's okay. We're not gonna think about it. At least, oh my god, what? Wait, isn't that what happened when I... Oh no, okay, we're fine, Okay. I guess I need all this. Sure. Why not? Because I don't know what you're using in the sample scene. Probably everything. This poor computer. I know this class has been exhilarating so far. It's great. This lecture's fun. Oh my gosh, it's doing it. Yay.
All the terrain.
Yeah, this is it's a lot of crap. I didn't realize how much this thing had. Again, this is why games take up a lot of space. It's the graphics and stuff. I mean, honestly, like, what's a good example? Sea of Thieves, for instance, it's like over 100 gigs. That game, like, let's say it had no textures or anything like that, right? It was just, like, blockouts. That game would probably be, like, less than 10 gigs, I guarantee you. I guarantee you most of it is. Like, yeah, there's data and stuff for saving your data, but that takes up nothing compared to these. Compared to texture maps, all these, because it's all these high quality images and models that are put together. So it's a lot. Oh, it comes with skyboxes. Oh, that actually is kind of nice because then I can show you that and how that works with that and not have to download a separate skybox. This makes me happy. It's all going to be worth it. Maybe. If I load up the scene and it's all pink, I will cry too. That would be very upsetting. If the textures just don't texture properly. Oh my god, it's done. Alright, everyone. To continue on with the lecture now. Scenes. Demo. Be beautiful, please. You'd think there'd be... Oh, really? I like how I was joking about that, and then it's... God damn you. Why? Why do you do this to me? I don't understand what I do to you. Alright, we're just going to... it's fine. The other one's like 19 megabytes. It's fine. Did I just try to... delete the... Whatever. It's fine. We're good. Oh, I deleted the whole scenes folder. Well, that's great. You know what? We're just gonna do this. And then load it up again. And while that's happening, we're going to download this one. Oh my god, look, it has a little man. Did you see the little man?
I did.
There's a little man. Look at him go. This is just a catastrophe. Why are you still in here? And where is my samples? You know what? It's fine. Because we're going to just create a new scene. Go into this. And, oh, here's my scene. Yeah, go away. I don't want you anymore. Leave me alone. Bad. Scene go bye-bye. And then also this whole entire asset pack. Go away. Efficiency. Okay. I should have just found an asset pack last night to use instead of making you guys sit through this. I apologize, but it's okay. This one will be smaller.
You're lucky it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't. It's probably it's something small. With something that big, anything can happen. Here we go. Look how fast that was. Oh, it's so fast. The speed. All right. Scenes. Oh, look at this. Bright day. Oh, yes. Where are we? Okay, thank God. I don't know why I didn't just download this one. Okay. So, post-processing. The first step, first off, post-processing is an external Unity package. This one's a bit different because it's made by Unity. Like, it is part of the engine, but it's just not part of the engine by default because it takes up space, and there's no point in having it if you're not going to use it. So, to get post-processing, we're going to go to Window, Package Manager, and you're going to go to the Unity registry. And then you're just going to search post-processing, and you're going to install it. And it's not too big. And then once it's finished installing, you'll import it. There's been too many loading bars this lecture already. I'm tired of it. I'm done with the loading bars. This will be the last one, though, thank God. No more loading bars. Okay, cool. So now you'll know that post-processing worked because you'll have this tools button up here, and if you click it, you can see I'm gonna cry. Hello. Or no, I'm thinking of, what am I talking about? I'm thinking of ProBuilder. I'm tired this morning. Don't judge me. Okay, you'll know it worked because on your main camera, or anything, if you type in post-processing, yes, you should have this post-process debug, post-process layer, and post-process volume. These are the 3 components that it adds. Now, I'm going to explain what each of these do. You won't ignore this tools thing. This is just ProBuilder. I got mixed up between my packages. So yeah, what we're going to do is on the main camera, we're going to need to add 2 things. Don't worry about the debug. We're going to add a post-process layer and a post-process volume. So, here's the thing. The reason we're adding, so let's go over the layer first, actually. The layer here specifies, okay, which camera is this targeting? Right now it's targeting the main camera by default. The next thing is which layers does this affect? So, if we only select certain ones of these, the post-processing will only affect certain layers. But we're just going to select everything. In most cases, you'll select everything. Now, what is this volume? Now, we're going to check this is global. This means that no matter where this volume is, no matter where the camera is, this post-processing will always be applied to our scene. This is our overall post-processing. Now, you can create another empty game object and put a post-process volume on here. And then what you can do is have it so when the camera enters, like a collider in this, then it will trigger certain post-processing effects, if that makes sense. Now, we're not going to go over that today. We're going over just adding post-processing in general to your scene. So, in the post-process volume, what we need to do is add a new profile. You can see right now there's no profile at all. So we're going to click New, and right now it'll automatically add a new profile. So, now we have everything we need to add post-processing. So now the last thing to do is to do it. One thing about post-processing, you cannot see any of the effects in your scene view. Since it's from your camera, you can think of post-processing as almost like a filter that goes on your camera. You can only see it from the game view because that's what your camera is seeing. So we're going to start adding effects. So we're going to go to Unity. You're going to click Add Effect, go into Unity here, and you've got all this stuff here. We're going to go over each of them. I think the first one I want to go over probably is just color grading because it's very simple. So we've added this color grading effect, and you'll see some familiar things in here, kind of like maybe you'd see in Photoshop. First we have the temperature, so you can make things warmer. Oh, it actually is updating in the scene. That usually doesn't happen. That's kind of weird, actually. Why is it updating in the scene? Huh. I'm not going to complain. Maybe it's a new thing. So you can do things like change the temperature. We can make it a bit warmer if we want. You can change the tint as well. You have post-exposure, so if you want to make it brighter or darker. You have a color filter that you can put over everything. Like so. I'll probably turn that off though. You can do hue shift, saturation changes, bunch of fun stuff you can do with color. You can also change the contrast, which I definitely recommend being careful with. And you can also change the specific mixers for red, green, and blue. And there's a lot of other stuff here you could do to mess with the colors, so honestly, just play around with it. And this is just one effect. Now, the nice thing about this post-processing is by clicking this box here, you can turn off each individual effect to see what it does, which is quite nice. So let's add another effect. The next thing I want to go over is going to be ambient occlusion. This, I love ambient occlusion, and you guys are going to too. It brings your scene to a whole nother level. So what is ambient occlusion? Well, basically the best way to explain it, right, is if you look at that corner of the room, for instance, up on the top right over there. As the two walls meet together, there are darker shadows, if that makes sense. That's basically what ambient occlusion is in corners or divots of your level is like shadows, which right now by default in Unity it's kind of hard to see that. So let me actually let's just see what it what we can see from just changing it here. So if we click on intensity and increase this, yeah, it's a little bit less obvious with this level, but you can see you can see if I put it at max what it's doing here. You can see those divots and like tiny little crevices in the ground. It's actually adding shadow to them, and so it gives you this more realistic look. And even for a low poly game that isn't realistic, it still brings it to the next level and increases immersion. And you don't have to have it that high, so we'll probably go something like here. And you can also change the color of the shadows as well. So if you wanted like a darker green, for instance, you could do that. If you wanted them to be pink for some reason, I don't know why. So you can see over here actually how that's affecting, the color is affecting it. I'm just going to keep it at black for now. So now our level has ambient occlusion, which was super easy to add. And if it's too intense, you can do multiple things. If you bring the color brightness up, that also decreases the intensity as well. And so just those two things already. We can also turn off the entire post-process volume itself and see how much that's changed. And already you can see that looks a lot better. And we've only added 2. Next thing is screen space reflections. Now this one I don't think we're going to see anything with. So screen space reflections is basically simulated like wetness. I know that sounds dumb, but reflectiveness off of like wet surfaces. Again, I don't think we're going to see anything with this just because there's not really any, it's not a thing in this level, but just know that's what that does. And some of these you may actually recognize as settings in games that you can change. Like Cyberpunk, you can change ambient occlusion and screen space reflections. Grain is one I don't use too often, but could be useful in some situations. It adds, well, grain. And you can increase the intensity of the grain, the size of the grain, luminous contribution, which makes it look nasty if you do that, which that can be actually useful for style in some. You can also turn off the colored, so that way it's just black and white grain as well. We're not going to really use that in this example, but just know that is a thing that is there. Next, vignette. This is exactly what you would think it does. It adds a vignette to your scene. Now, this is actually kind of cool because, like, let's say, what's a good example? Maybe your player is getting low health or something, right? And you want an easy way of saying that. You can also access post-processing effects in scripts. So you can turn off and on certain effects or increase the intensity of certain effects. Now, if we change the smoothness here too, you can see we have like a perfect circle there. And then we have something like this. Maybe your player is about to die and they get tired and weird like that. Or you could go into the color here and add like a red effect, like, you're dying, you know, something like that, right? So there's a lot of cool things that you can do with this. You can also change where it's centered, which is interesting. You can also change the roundness of it. And there's different modes too. There's also masked, which I haven't really messed with much. I believe you can add your own mask for it. But yes, vignette is a thing. It's cool. Great way to show that your player's taking damage or something like that. In fact, I know for a fact you guys have probably played games that have, in Unity made games that have used just this to show that you're damaged. Now we're going to get rid of that because we're also not going to be using that for now. Bloom. Okay, bloom. This is a big one. Be careful with bloom. Bloom, essentially, the best way to explain this is it takes the lights that are already existing in your scene and just, it's different than exposure though. Here, I'll just show you. It's easier to just show it than to explain it. This is bloom. This is what bloom does. And you've also, in some games, you have the option to increase the bloom. It almost adds sort of like a, gosh, how would I explain it?
Stigmatism?
Yeah, kinda, yeah. The stigmatism. Yeah, this is what it's like when people with stigmatism stripe now. I actually do have astigmatisms in both my eyes. But yeah, bloom kind of like blows out the lights in your scene is the best way I would explain that. Which this is really nice until you go overboard. So honestly, subtle is usually better. Something like this, for instance, maybe just 7, can add a lot to your scene. You can already see that adds more atmosphere. And things look really cool with that. So I like that a lot. Now we can change the threshold as well here. Just going to put that back at 1, though. This soft knee you can also change, to be completely honest with you. Oh, it's a little bit weird. I think what it does is if this is at 1, it's almost just like it filters your screen. Hello? So honestly, you probably won't have a need to mess with that too much. Let's see, what else do I want to go over here? You can also change the color of the bloom. So, for instance, you could make it green, which I guess would kind of fit this scene. But honestly, you usually want something closer to white. Maybe I'd increase the intensity a little bit if we did green like that. Maybe bring up the soft knee a bit. You can see what that looks like on and off. And that bloom by itself actually adds quite a lot. It might be a little bit too intense, but, you know. You can see how that can add atmosphere to your game. So definitely mess with that too. And again, a lot of this post-processing, it's just going to be messing around with stuff. All your levels are different. All of them are built in different ways and have different environments. So post-processing isn't going to be the same for any of you. You guys are going to have to mess around with it to get it to look good. Okay, auto exposure. This one's pretty simple. It just adds more exposure, really. So, that was a little bright. So you could add more exposure to your game, or just make it look like you're in the 7th layer of hell. It's pretty scary. There's a lot of other... Let's bring that down. Okay. There's a lot of other things you can do with this, too. And honestly, I haven't messed with auto exposure a ton, but there are some settings here that do some different things. And again, if you don't know what something is, the best way to figure out what it does is to just mess with the slider and see how it affects your scene.
So
From my experience.
we want to use auto exposure.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Basically. Which we don't really need it in this case. We already increased the brightness a little bit with the color grading too. This one, chromatic aberration. This one's kind of weird, but very cool for adding some interesting effects. So this is what it does. It almost adds like this, well, I guess chromatic aberration. It kind of stretches the sides of your screen and almost adds a little bit of color scatter to it. It's very interesting. Very cool looking too. And honestly, this would be a very cool effect if you were like, I don't know, maybe you're like a guy that you're playing as like needed to heal and he injected this crazy stim into him and he's like, ah! You know, and went like Super Saiyan mode. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, this adds kind of a cool effect.
So I should scrap my whole project and remake Fallout.
Yes. Yes. Anyway, we're going to just put that at like, I don't know, like 0.1. I just feel like leaving it in there. That basically does nothing, but why not? Anyway. Motion blur. This is also, okay. With motion blur, wow, my voice cracked. Holy God. Okay. So with motion blur, you guys have probably experienced this in games before, and if you're like me, you turned it off immediately because it's fucking horrible and makes you want to throw up. I hate motion blur. I hate it so much. Basically what this does is when the player is in motion or is moving around, it adds blur to the screen. I just hate it so much. It's here if you want to add it. There's no way to really show this without moving around, so I'm just not going to. But it's what it sounds like. It just adds motion blur. You can, if you want to mess with it, you can add it to your scene, put your player in, move around, see what happens. I hate it so much, and I think it's honestly just a plague that infects games. Anyway, moving on. We have lens distortion next, which, well, distorts the lens. Again, this is pretty cool for certain effects. Does some pretty crazy stuff. This actually is kind of nice. Again, let's say you like had a boost or something. If you wanted to boost the player, you could increase the FOV by a little bit and do something like this, which is pretty fun. Or maybe if your player's drunk, something you could do in scripts is you could go like you could just move this back and forth at random intervals, and there's your drunkenness. And then you can also change the X and Y multiplier as well. Here, hold on. And you can see what that does. So you could actually just randomly be moving through all these values here all at once and just be like stretching and distorting the player's screen. Oh, that looks horrible. And doing different things. It's very fun. One thing here, can change the scale of this too. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Yeah, a lot of cool things you can do with this. Just don't give someone a seizure that's playing your game. That's all I ask. Or at least put a warning on it, like, hey, This may make you pass out from looking at it. Anyway, this last one here, I really love depth of field. This is one of my favorite ones to play with. You guys are going to love this. So this allows you to actually change like the focus distance of your camera or the depth of field. This is so awesome, especially if your game looks like shit and you just want to hide things in the distance. So if I bring this down here, you can actually see the depth of field changing. And let me actually move here to show you this. Let's move the camera to just be looking at this sign right here. This is also nice for like cinematic moments in your game. Maybe we'll rotate this up a bit. Move it closer to this sign here. Okay. Now, if we change the focus distance here, we can focus on this sign here, which is super cool. And so again, this is another thing you can do with code, or maybe, right, maybe your player has a scope and you zoom in and it only focuses on at a certain distance. It's pretty cool. So honestly, what I like to do usually is just add a little bit. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but just add a little bit of blur in the distance. Nothing too crazy. Like, yeah, something like that is just a very minimal effect. Maybe I'd increase it a little bit for this scene just because it's so small. And I think it looks pretty cool. So now we've added a lot of post-processing. Let's see what it did to our scene. Let me turn this on and off. I'm bringing the camera back up here. Okay, maybe not that high. Let's bring our game view up here. And let's just turn it all off and back on. Off, on. Do you see how much atmosphere that added? I mean, we thought this looked cool when we brought it in. Now look at this. It looks so much cooler. And maybe you'd want to change things like the saturation and stuff, but it just looks so much more alive and like tangible. Like there's so much more atmosphere. It's amazing. Post-processing is just awesome. And there's even more effects. You can notice here when I clicked effects, these are Unity effects. You can find even more that people have made before with shaders. So, and you can even make your own shaders. But this just adds so much. I mean, it's night and day the difference here. So this is what you guys will be adding to your game. And I saved this for the final as part of the final because, you know, it's better to do after you've already built your scene or have it mostly built. So yeah, this can really add a lot to your game. And you don't have to use everything either. If you have just 2 effects that make your game look better and you just want to add those, that's completely fine. Go for it. If there's only one that makes it look better, that's fine. Just make it look as nice as you can with the tools that I'm giving you is the goal. You don't have to use every single one of these. I mean, some of these are just weird, let's be honest. So that is post-processing. Now, one more thing I want to go over real quick is skyboxes. Honestly, this is kind of a weird skybox. Like, I get what they were going for. I hate it. I'm just kidding. I don't hate it. It's fine. Anyway, skyboxes. Let's actually get rid of this. Oh, God. Let's get rid of this lighting window here because by default, you won't have this. To get the lighting window of your scene so you can further customize your lighting, you're going to go to Window, you're going to go to Rendering, and then Lighting. Now this will pull up this lighting tab here. Now this scene already has lighting settings, and basically what this does is it's a type of file that just holds the light data, like that you would change in here, which we're going to go over in something. So you'll need to add a new lighting setting for this, and it'll just save it somewhere in your assets. You could create a folder to put all your light settings in. It's just something that holds the data. Now, this stuff here is mainly for baking lighting and adding light maps, which we're not going over because it's like fucking useless in Unity. And also, even with Unreal and stuff, it's almost becoming like just something that you don't even need to do with how well things can run now with real-time lighting. So if we go in here, we can see we have a skybox material already. By default, what you're used to seeing is this. Why is it gray? I don't know. Anyway, what you're used to seeing, though, it's usually like a blue, is the default Unity scene, right? Or Unity skybox, which is just kind of a gradient. Now, you can drag your own skyboxes into here, or even textures. Like, I could, for instance, I have this red texture here. I could put that on there, which right now they have some lighting stuff going on here in these settings. I almost want to get rid of the lighting settings and add a new one. In fact, I might do that, actually. Hold on. New. My lighting. There we go. Beautiful. Still kind of weird looking. Honestly, it's probably because the source... Oh, never mind. maybe because of the shadows. Some materials don't go in well with these, but you can put materials as the skybox is in. Some of them just aren't great for it. You would probably want to go into this material if you really wanted to see it. And let's make this, that's not the right thing. You'd probably want to go into this material and add an emissive. Yeah, there you go. And so then you could actually see it in the skybox. Anyway, point is you can put other materials as the skybox, and it looks weird usually, but you can. Although sometimes it can look cool. We had an example of that in the game graphics class yesterday. So there's a lot of weird stuff here. This also comes with Unity, and it's kind of weird, but it's also cool. Sometimes I just put this in when I get bored of the normal skybox while I'm building a game. But one thing you can also do is obviously import actual skyboxes, like genuinely like good high quality ones. Now, it looks like there was already a skybox in here, and I feel like they would put it in textures. Yep. So, oh, these aren't the actual, whoops, I need to go into the materials. So if we go into the materials, high quality, skybox, there we go. So this is the skybox that was in our scene, and now there's also this night one here, which looks pretty cool too. And so you can drag in these skyboxes, and skyboxes are basically just an image that wraps around your entire scene. That's all it is. And if it's a texture, it just repeats that texture around your entire scene as well. Now, something interesting that you can do in your lighting settings here. One thing you can do is change your real-time shadow color. Now, it doesn't, hold on. Is it affecting it in here? Okay, it's just really hard to tell if it's doing anything, I guess. We're going to come back to that. First off, on the environmental lighting right now, our source is a color. If we put it to the skybox, see how everything turns kind of blue? That's because the lighting is a source of the skybox. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. This could actually look really good sometimes, but mixed with post-processing, sometimes it can look a little weird, so you have to tinker with it a bit. You can also do light it by gradient, and you can see how this changes things. I usually like using gradient personally. So if we go to the sky color here, I'm going to actually, you kind of just want to adjust things until it looks right, and you can see how this is affecting our scene. So that's a little much there. Maybe I'd do something like that. And then the equator color, it's kind of like a mid-tone almost in a way. So you want it a bit darker. And then the ground is usually the darkest. Something like that. Again, you can also light it by just a single color. So we can make it really dark, really bright. And this is another way to kind of change the exposure of your scene. I'm going to go back to gradient here. And you know, maybe this is a little bit dark. Maybe I'll bring the shadows up a little bit. The equator color. Put it at more of a white, just a little bit, still a little green. Something like that. So anyway, that's one way you can light things. You can change the resolution of your reflections and stuff, which again, there's not really any reflections in this because we don't have like reflective materials, but that's something you can do. You can change like the bounces, the intensity multiplier, all that fun stuff. Now you can also have a sun source, which right now is our directional light. Usually you want it to be that. If I select none, it doesn't really do anything because our source here isn't our skybox, because that all kind of works together, but it's not super important. And it's just gone now, our directional light apparently. Here, go in. So those are some cool things you can do with this. Another cool thing is fog. Now this is another one that you have to be careful with, but can still be really cool. So if we add fog to our scene, right now it doesn't look like it did much because the density is so low, but you can see when we start to increase the intensity, like it increases fast. So like 0.3 and 0.4 is quite different. So with a scene like this, I'd probably do like 0.2 or maybe even 0.15, you know, just to add some more atmosphere. Now, right now, this is kind of a weird gray. I don't think it looks very good, so I'd probably change the color, maybe to like something in between, like a greenish blue. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, and that adds a little bit more atmosphere as well. So fog is another way you can add some atmosphere to your level. And again, the higher the density, basically, the more, well, foggy it will be. Fog is quite nice too, again, if you want to hide things in the distance a little better. And you can see how this fogs work. It's also nice for horror games. And being able to change the color of the fog is pretty cool too. They make it even a little more green. Nice. So using the lighting tab and post-processing, you can do a lot for your scene. So I do want you guys to add in a skybox. Even if your level's fully indoor, I'd just like you to add the skybox in just so you know how to do it and you're just comfortable with it. It's not like it's that hard, but it's just something I want you guys to do. You can just find you can look up skyboxes on the Unity Asset Store and find those. And if, technically you could make your own if you have a really nice camera, but you have to do like a weird 360 thing. It's interesting actually how skyboxes work. So that is all the post-processing and stuff. So for your final, again, let me go back to the final. Let's just get rid of this. Go away, and go away. No, I'd like the final, please. Hold on. Here we go. So you're going to be adding post-processing, a skybox, and how well your level is lit will also be affected by this. So this is actually just the visuals, the post-processing and things is actually a huge chunk of your grade. Just making your level look good is a good chunk of it. And again, I know a lot of your levels aren't traditional, which is awesome. It's not just a traditional forest or something, and that is great because it allows you to be even more creative with the post-processing to make it something that's visually interesting. Again, you'll need a full gameplay loop. So I should be able to have a main menu. You click play, go in. I can die, restart, or I can go back to the main menu. So it has a loop. Now, these other stuff, fully built level, fully textured level, that just kind of goes without saying. The last one is a new feature to add to your game. So you guys have already done this once, and I'm making you do it again because it's an important skill. And this can be anything. It doesn't have to be something super complicated. It's just something, what do you think would make your game fun, right? What would you find enjoyable? Is it collecting keys to open doors? Is it puzzles, right? Maybe it's a tiny thing. Maybe you want to add in more triggered sound effects, or maybe you want to look into programming a way that you can walk into a certain room and the post-processing changes, right? That's something you can do too. There's plenty of stuff to look into here. Again, the point of this is to make you guys do research, and just like the last thing, just explain what your feature is and what you added. And again, I'll make that more clear in the rubric here when I add it after I'm done yapping at you guys. For your submission, you're just going to upload an ArtStation post with at least 8 images and a video walkthrough of your game. So that's going to be what you put in here. It's just your ArtStation link. Everything will be uploaded to your ArtStation. And so that's what you're going to be doing for the final. Now, if you guys need any help with your feature too, or struggling or stuck, and you're hit a dead end, I have a lot of experience with this, adding features and stuff. I do it every day and run into problems every day and have to fix the problems every day. So I can help you. So just email me if you have any questions about that. And that's going to be it for the lecture for here. I'll add this in case you want to watch it back. I recommend skipping over the first 20 minutes of the downloading process because I'm an idiot and decided that it would be a great idea to try to download a scene that was over almost 3 gigs, but you know what? It's fine. At least we ended with something that looks good and cool. Also, where's the little guy? I was promised that there was a little man in this scene, and I've not seen a little man. Maybe if I hit play. Where's the little man?
Turn around, it's going to be right behind you.
Anyway, let me stop this video.